Greetings and welcome to Connecting with the Intent Show. I'm your host Muhammad Awais. On this episode, we have a very special guest. He's the business owner, author, coach, and motivational speaker, Shazad Carbaidwala. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Shazad Carbaidwala. Shazad, welcome.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you taking the time and speaking with me today.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, it- as I go through the life, my life, there's a lot of things that have happened, whether they've been good, whether they've been bad. In my early adolescence, through my part of my adulthood, I was making some really poor decisions. Um, which led in some very bad, dark places that I had to crawl out of. And what's happened now is, I'm a firm believer if you align yourself with people that are doing specific things, you may fall into those specific things. And that's what was happening to me in my early adolescence and my adolescence and my early adulthood. And I was making those poor decisions because I was surrounding myself. I was making those poor decisions. But now I've surrounded myself with some really amazing people that are guiding me and helping me to, pursue my life's mission, which is to help people by any means necessary.
What is your higher purpose in life?
No, my higher purpose now is preserving my dad's legacy. My father passed away in eight, and the feedback that I got from a lot of his friends, family, and acquaintances was he did a lot of amazing things, helped them in so many different ways. And when I look back on my life, that's my I feel like that's my purpose now is I've been given all the resources to be successful. Even though I've been given a lot of resources and all the resources to be successful, I still made some major mistakes, um, that we may or may not talk about. But anyways, that being said, now my sole purpose is to help people in any way I can. That stems from, writing my book to give people perspective on changes that they can make in their life, being a coach, being a motivational speaker, a business owner. So, I own my own personal training studio. So helping people change their, physical health as well and mental health. So, I feel like that is my sole purpose in life is to kind of give back for all the amazing things that I've received in the course of my life.
Top three greatest challenges that you have had to overcome.
Early on, since I was 5 years old, there was this purpose that I had in my life of becoming a professional athlete. And I'm going to use this word probably more than once in this conversation is by any means necessary. I was in a state of tunnel vision where all I wanted to pursue was becoming a professional athlete. So I made a lot of sacrifices. I made decisions that would impact me in a lot of ways, whether it's good and bad. So when I reached the status of professional in 2009, 1 year after my dad passed away, that I achieved, but then I had to give up right away because I had to start making sure that the people that I love most were taken care of. For example, my mom, and I was reached the status of professionalism, but now I had to take a step back and change that responsibility. So changing that image for me, Muhammad, was a challenge. It was a really a big challenge because my whole image and my whole brand changed overnight as soon and my friend circle changed, my colleagues changed, my acquaintance changed, all those people that I was in that industry with, walking away from it, all those people that I thought were my closest friends and people like that, it all dissipated. So that was a really big challenge. Another challenge is being pursuing the different things that I'm involved in and being a husband, a father, a son, and all these different things that you have. you know good and bad that take away part of your life. It's a challenge to try to meet my life objective of always being there and supporting people and helping people at any and by any means necessary, right? That's a challenge because you only have a certain amount of time in the day and you're trying to do so much. So that's something that I battle with that every day, Mohammed, honestly, because it's tough. It's tough. We have a certain expectation in life that we live, and I hold myself to a very high standard, and I want to make sure that I meet my standards to preserve my dad's legacy.
Yeah.
I don't know what the third one is, man. Those are my major two ones.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
So I have been clean and sober for 6 years as of March 5th, so a little bit over 6 years, and um, when I became a professional athlete, I was a professional bodybuilder in 2009. I received my pro card, and I trained and trained and trained. And Muhammad, I was training twice a day, and I put things in my body that I shouldn't have, and I battled addiction. And I'll be the first one to say because I think it's a form of repenting and allowing yourself to reform. I'm an addict. I'm a lifelong addict, and I'll always be an addict. But that was probably it may in some people's eyes it may not be a failure story because I am clean now, but for me it was a failure story because I delved into things that I guess I want to say I shouldn't have, but you know even though I overcame it, you know I still feel like it's a failure story, but you know what? I grew from it. I really did. And every day, a day doesn't go by, Muhammad, where I don't think about my addiction because it's an addiction. Once you're an addict, you're constantly thinking about that. But but I've surrounded myself with such good people now that they don't fuel my addiction. They allow me to stay on the God put me on, which is to continue and share my insight and kind of and help people.
What is the most impactful book you have read and what did you learn from it?
The most impactful book that I've read. I'm not a big reader, but maybe I'll change that question a little bit. It's writing my book, Row, ROW. Row is a book about a gentleman that is in San Quentin prison on death row 2 weeks before he gets executed. So it's a dark story, but that was really a metaphor of how I used to live my life. So each chapter is a jail journal about the person that's going to be executed. Okay, now I talk about the person in prison and how he's experiencing things in present tense, and then I talk about my experiences in life through past tense, good and bad. There's a piece of that story which is bad, and I talk about some of my things that I did that I'm not proud of, but that helped me change in such a positive way. So I would say the process of putting that. So if you think about that, let's say, Mohammed, you're writing a book. You're thinking about when you're born all the way to where you're at now and where you want to be. That made me do a lot of reflecting, and it was very, very therapeutic, and it impacted me in such a positive way, man. It really, really did, and it was such a catalyst on helping me change my demeanor, the way that I interact with people, the things that I do, everything. That book is not just a piece of a page for me. For me, it's my life story, and it's my piece of work that I'm going to leave behind for my children, for my beautiful baby girl, for my family, my mom, everybody.
Yeah, that's great. What are your goals for the next 12 months?
Next 12 months. So I want to continue doing more podcasts and share my experiences and create more awareness. So people can reach out and I can offer my services and offer more support to them. We all struggle with a lot of things in life. So I want to keep podcasting. I want to keep the flow of communication going. The other thing is I signed up for a sprint triathlon. So I've never been a very good swimmer. Had a couple instances where I almost drowned. Had family and friends save me, um, save my life. Honestly, I was very close to drowning, and I've never been a very good swimmer. So I'm challenging myself. I'm trying to. I know how to swim, but I want to get better. So I'm doing a sprint triathlon that's going to be in August. Um, and like I said, continue podcasting. I'm also working on a children's book for my daughter, and want to uh, finish the first draft of that. I want to finish my first draft of that, and then I also want to, get my uh, motivational speaking more 3 or 4 more engagements, you know, um, lined up in the next 12 months.
What advice you will give to younger yourself?
Say whatever you say, make sure you do it. If you have specific milestones in life, if you talk about them, make sure you actually address them and you execute them. It's very easy moment in life to talk about what you want to do, right? Everyone. We all want to do things in life. We all want to have a fruitful, wealthy, and wealth doesn't mean just money. I'm talking about wealth as in like being able to, travel, do whatever you feel like is what you define wealth as. Um, but do it. That's not an easy thing. It's easy to say something, but it's not the easiest thing to actually do it. So say what you say, but do what you do as well. That's
Yeah,
what the advice I'll give to young people.
that's a great advice. How can we support you?
No, but that's I appreciate you asking that question. That's it's create awareness. You know, the we're so lucky, we're fortunate that we live in an age of digital transformation. We live in an age where there's so many different outlets where we could express ourselves.
Yeah.
There's so many different social media platforms, and that's the one thing that you're asking me, how can we support you? It's such a beautiful question, because it shows that you care. Yeah, showcase me on other platforms, uh, get me out there on social media and stuff. My whole purpose behind all of this is to really, you know, get out there and offer assistance to anyone that needs it. We're all human beings. We make mistakes. We do things that we're not proud of. I've done a bunch of them. I've done many of things. I still continue to make mistakes. And if I didn't have the help and the team helping me, my friends and family, I wouldn't have been able to get through, my different struggles.
What would you say about your guest appearance on the show?
It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you for your kind words. So, what closing thoughts would you like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, we talked briefly. Um,
Yeah.
is seek help. If we all need help, in some capacity. Something that my one of my mentors told me back in 2004. Yeah, 2004.
Uh,
Check your ego at the door.
yeah.
You know,
Thank you, Shazad. Yeah.
sure.
Uh, Thank you, Shazad, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Connecting with the Intent community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Muhammad West. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Thanks, Mama. Appreciate it.